Mikey versus Ayanokouji, a long unending debate that really never should have started, and I mean that respectfully. I personally enjoy both of these characters a lot and have read both series extensively, so it's hild of head-scratching why these two characters even get compared to begin with. One series is more analytical, while the other is more gangster-based. However, I have made multiple videos about this fight in the past, but today I will officially be ending the debate now that I have added context to a bunch of feats for both of these characters. I will be breaking up the fight into sections, discussing feats for both characters before the final conclusion, and explain how the winner wins the fight. Before we get started, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more matchup breakdowns. I will start with this category since this is one of the most controversial categories where a lot of misinformation happens. I'll start with Ayanokouji. Ayanokouji has street-level attack potency and has the striking power to one-shot characters like Nagumo, Ichizaki, and Ibuki. There are also characters who have statements of comparability to Ayanokouji's striking strength like Tsukishiro, Shiba, and Kenji, so the narrative he is far superior in attack potency than his verse is false. Ayanokouji should be superior to Kiryuin, who he stated was about to destroy a chain, and Sudo, who splintered a desk after kicking it through the air. However, his attack potency has limits shown when he punched Albert with his full power, and it dealt shallow damage, which is why he attacked his solar plexus and throat after it. He attacked Ryuin with a heavy blow, but there was still no signs of Ryuin falling over. These feats are impressive, but still in the realm of realism, since it's possible for people in real life to destroy these objects, so they should scale around low street level. His durability is slightly weaker than his attack potency. When fighting Manabu Horikita, he stated that Manabu could one-shot him after he barely dodged his kick and felt the pressure of the kick pass his face. Analyzed Suzune Horikita's athletic build and assessed that she could kill him with a good strike to his head with a bottle. Many believe this was a joke, but he also said Ibuki, who is Suzune's equal and rival, could give him a concussion with a roundhouse kick, also due to her athletic build, which is what he said about Suzune. The roundhouse kick is Mikey's signature kick, and he has far more striking power, kick accuracy, and speed than Ibuki. When fighting Nanase after she switched personalities and her attack power grew, Ayanokouji stated that her attack power had the strength to knock out grown men, which likely includes himself, Tsukishiro, and other strong characters based on this consistent narrative. He said if he wasn't good at damage exchange, Shiba's strike would have stopped him in his tracks or knock him out. When Ayanokouji let Albert hit him, he realized the power was more than he expected and said he couldn't let the damage accumulate or he would be in trouble. This proves Albert is physically superior than Ayanokouji, since he can not only tank his punches with minimal damage, but also deal major damage to Ayanokouji with punches. If you doubt this is true, in the same fight, Ayanokouji let Ryuin attack him multiple times to see if Ryuin could make him feel fear. Ayanokouji said himself that Albert is superior to Ryuin, so this is why he can tank Ryuin's kicks with ease, rather than Albert's. Ryuin isn't known as a strong fighter, so this also narratively makes sense. Overall, attack potency in this verse is based on skill level and durability is based on muscle mass. Most skilled fighters have the same level of striking power, and muscular-built characters like Albert or Hausen have higher durability than that. Mikey is one of the strongest strikers in Tokyo Revengers and has time and time again showcased his superior striking power. Since a young age, Mikey could kick mopeds, sending them flying, and upscales from 13-year-old Baji, who cratered a wall after punching a guy's head into it to save Chifuyu. Ran Haitani caved a man's skull in with punches before killing him. Mucho broke a Yakuza that uses MMA's spine with a judo throw onto concrete, paralyzing him. He destroyed the entire front of a car with bad balance in base form after being lured to a place where he would have bad footing by Kazutora. He can easily destroy walls and one-shot any character in the verse, as he is shown to not have an equal throughout the entire series. There are also other TR multiverse feats that Mikey scales far above, like Tenkunimiya from Desert Eagle cratering a wall by throwing a dart, Morinaga destroying a platform of bamboo after punching Haizawa. I also created a video breaking down Tokyo Revengers multiverse. Be sure to watch it to learn how Tokyo Revengers is connected to other Ken Wakwe manga. Mikey is the most durable character in Tokyo Revengers. He had his head repeatedly hit in the head with a metal pipe, then used his head right after to headbutt Chome to free himself being held down. Mikey has several feats of letting his opponents hit him to punish himself by tanking their hits. Kakucho noted it felt like he was punching a ghost. The same would happen to Ayanokouji, who has far less striking power based on his own statements. Kakucho one-shot Mucho, who is stated to be the strongest Toman captain and is also the same size as Albert, which upscales Mucho from Baji, who cratered a wall. He scales above characters like Takemichi tanked back-to-back explosions from a truck, and then a smart car from point-blank range. Characters that were hit by speeding cars and also characters who can de-story entire rooms. You can see burn scars on Takemichi's skin and clothes from the explosion itself, which blew him away when exploding. But this did nowhere near the same damage Mikey did, who hospitalized Takemichi and put him into a coma. Sensu tanked a full-speed motorcycle driven by Taiju to the gut that sent him flying into a train and only suffered a few injuries. Overall, Mikey's has an attack potency of wall level to small building. Elevator statement. There is also an incorrect narrative that Ayanokouji can destroy elevator doors with attacks, but I will debunk why that is contradictory to the situation as well as what he actually says. Ibuki dented the elevator with a kick hard enough to shake the elevator. This feat has been scaled to 4 kilojoules, which is mid-street tier. When stuck in the elevator, Ayanokouji stated, "It's not like I wanted to use Ibuki's idea, but I need to consider that kicking down the front door may be necessary. Even if breaking it down is impossible, I might be able to open up a small hole for a human to crawl through. I'm not an expert on elevators, but as long as escape to the outside is possible, anything goes. It's just, if possible, I would like to get out without having to reveal that sort of strength." Now, what does he mean by this? For starters, Ibuki kicked the elevator wall, not the door, which is why it was easier for her to dent since the elevator wall is far more hollow than the doors. Next, Ayanokouji states he didn't want to adopt her idea of kicking the front door, but it may be necessary to escape. But the problem is she never kicked the actual door, so this changes up everything. Which is why Ayanokouji says even if breaking the door itself open with kicks like Ibuki used were impossible, he would have to develop another method of opening the door since he himself admits he doesn't have the strength to break down the door. He said he could still open up a small hole for a human to escape through. The plan or hole he is talking about would come from him physically pulling the elevator doors apart with brute strength, which is why he stated he wasn't an expert on elevators and their functions and didn't want to reveal that sort of strength. Ayanokouji only mentioned Ibuki's plan of kicking the door beforehand because it turned his attention to the front door and he weighed his options of getting out. He knows he can't destroy the door, but he might be able to pull the doors apart if the functions of the elevator allow them to be opened. If Ayanokouji was talking about striking power, he wouldn't have to mention anything about the architecture of elevators, since he could just simply destroy the obstacle in his path. Ayanokouji would not contradict himself and state something is impossible for him to do in a life and death situation in the middle of his analysis of a serious situation. Strength. Ayanokouji's physical strength would likely be his third best attribute besides his intelligence and experience. Ayanokouji has peak human, near superhuman strength, and it has showcased throughout the series. As I mentioned before about the elevator statement, this is likely what he was referring to rather than attacking the door with punches or kicks, since he said it was impossible to destroy. Now I will calculate how much strength it would take to rip open an elevator door with brute strength, and the endurance shall be over 1,000 N. 1,000 N equates to the weight of a washing machine, which weigh at most 230 yaribis or 104.32 kg. Ayanokouji asked what the average strength of a high school student so he could manipulate his results to not stand out. But the person he asked gave the wrong number. and it resulted in him scoring a 60 kilos, surprising the class. Ayanokouji said with training, a person can get their grip strength up to 100 kilos, which I assume his full grip strength is at. 100 kilos still achievable in real life, so I wouldn't call this superhuman, but it's at around the threshold of human capabilities. In the Ryuen gang fight, he used his grip strength go gain an advantage over Ichizaki by squeezing his fist after catching it when he threw a punch. This caused Ichizaki to scream in pain. He also caught Albert fist after he attacked, which confirms Ayanokouji is the comparable strength-wise to Albert, which makes more sense for the elevator feat, since Ayanokouji's punches had only shallow effect, but he had no problem matching Albert's strength. He did the same thing to Hausen, but in this instance, Hausen stabbed his palm, and Ayanokouji held his hand in place with the knife still stuck through his hand. Ayanokouji stated that Hausen is superior to Albert in strength, and it's shown because Hausen beat Ryuen, and Albert got help from Ichizaki to hold him down for Ryuen to gain his advantage, so this feat is even more impressive. In a match of tug-of-war, Koenji and him ended in a stalemate tie, which is impressive for both characters. People think Koenji has comparable strength to a boar because he captured or fought one in the island exams, but it was off-screened, and there is too many scenarios to assume he used brute strength or punches when he could have laid a trap using his IQ and nature experience, since he said it didn't take him as long as he thought, and Koenji can also easily swing on trees like a monkey. On top of being the best fighter, Mikey is also one of the physically strongest characters in the series. Even though he didn't place in the top 3 in arm wrestling, where Draken and Pa-Chin cracked a table, his leg strength has shown to have comparable strength to the powerhouses. He used his own leg to stop his speeding CB250T motorcycle, lifted Chanbo with his leg, after being held down by him with help from Chom holding his arms in place, meaning Mikey did this feat without full strength, used his forearm to deflect Chanbo's kick without paying him any attention, and blocking a full-power Izana kick who should have weaker but formidable leg strength as well. Ayanokouji is a fast character, and unlike his striking, his reaction speed stands above the rest in his verse. His running speed is shown when he raced Manabu. If you were to scale the race, it would give Ayanokouji and Manabu peak human running speed. However, Ayanokouji stated he could go even faster, but another runner fell into his lane, so it wasn't shown. People think Ayanokouji blitzed Ichika Amasawa to keep her from breaking Kushida's arm, but this wouldn't be considered a blitz because her focus wasn't even on Ayanokouji, but rather Kushida, whose arm she attempted to break. This is just him preventing her from breaking his arm. However, Takuya Yagami, who should have comparable speed even if slower to Ayanokouji, actually did blitz her before she could react when her full guard was up. Ayanokouji should have around peak human to superhuman attack speed. He doesn't have many attacking faster than someone can react feats. Besides when he fought Nagumo, who he punched in the chest and knocked out. Although he can react a lot faster than opponents can attack, his attacks can still be avoided if the opponent is skilled enough to dodge them. Tsukishiro and Shiba were able to dodge a lot of Ayanokouji's attacks once he started fighting back, most notably Shiba. As mentioned before, Ayanokouji's reaction speed is in a class by itself. In the light novel, when fighting Manabu, he dodged a backhand attack from him that wasn't telegraphed. He dodged every attack from Tsukishiro and Shiba when they were attacking him simultaneously, as well as Nanase. He has the best reaction speed, and rare he can be caught off guard unless the speed is greater than his own. However, his reaction time is abnormal based on the statements from Tsukishiro, which makes his reaction speed superhuman. However, he can still be caught off guard if the opponent is fast enough. Manabu almost landed a kick on him, which made him cold sweat and say close call. When fighting Nanase, she switched her personality to Eiichiro Matsuo mode and blitzed Ayanokouji, which made him stop analyzing her and take evasive action to avoid the attack from completing her blitz. He had to do this against Shiba too, dodging his attacks at the last moment. He dodged projectile orange juice that was thrown at him by Ryuen, who was trying to show his abnormal reaction time to Katsuragi. Overall, Ayanokouji should have superhuman to subsonic reaction speed, peak human combat speed and running speed, and subsonic dash speed. Mikey is exceptionally fast all around. Izana attempted to blitz him, and Mikey blocked the kick, showcasing his reaction time. Kikucho also has several blitzing feats where he attacks multiple people at once, without them being able to react. Taiju Shiba blitzed 12 people in one panel in Chapter 259. However, in Chapter 262, Mikey blitzed almost every notable character and no-name character in a short span, including Taiju, showcasing he is far faster than anyone else. He is also notably the best runner in Toman. Mikey can also boost his attributes like speed and strength with Dark Impulse. In Chapter 262, he boosted his speed to overcome Takamichi's foresight visions to the point they no longer worked, and Mikey could again land his attacks. He has also shown to be able to boost his strength. He also boosted his speed against Hanma, who notable has abnormal kinetic vision. He was able to kick Kazutora before he could react, with Chome still holding his leg down. South also did this against Wakasa and Benkei, who were overwhelming him. He stated his dark urges make him stronger and stronger. Wakasa is one of the notably fastest characters in the verse, being faster than Kikucho, so this is a notable feat. Ayanokouji was born in the 4th generation of the White Room. The 4th generation, also known as the demonic 4th generation, focus on pure individualism. Kiyotaka is from the demonic 4th generation, which had the hardest and most cruel course of all generations. Kiyotaka has also confidently stated that when it comes to the White Room, he is the best student to have ever come out of it. As a result of his success, the faculty has been using Kiyotaka as the benchmark for future generations' students, including telling them to exceed him as their end goal. But it was revealed the information they were giving the kids was false information, hiding Kiyotaka's true results, because it would crush the other generation's confidence, knowing they can't reach his level. Kiyotaka's father firmly believes that his son is an existence that can become a perfect model and lead the masses, says he can be a censor by 25 of protecting well-known government officials. He alone had a huge impact on the entire White Room. It was said that no matter how extreme the training program is, he was able to leave behind a legacy of excellence, surpassing all expectations. There is a total of 10 different levels that the White Room teaches its students, and as they progress, the level raises. Level 5 or 6 are what is considered to limits of human development. Ayanokouji is the only person from his generation to pass those levels and reach level 10. After he completed the final level, he was then taught the Beta curriculum. This curriculum is only specific to the 4th generation due to Kiyotaka's success with the first 10 levels. It is described as a curriculum that is incredibly hard and is in an entirely different dimension than his previous curriculums. This curriculum became the normal for Kiyotaka up until his escape to advanced nurturing high school. Another incorrect narrative is that Ayanokouji knows every single martial arts, but nowhere has this ever been stated by anyone. He does, however, know a lot of them. He has canon statements for knowing karate, boxing, jeet kune do, and judo, and has been shown in the anime to use aikido, kickboxing, muay thai, and MMA. There is over 180 plus different martial arts styles in total, and the White Room doesn't mainly focus on martial arts. In fact, it wasn't even integrated until Ayanokouji was 4 years old. The main focus of the White Room is mainly mental capacity, such as academic and social intelligence, to develop world leaders and politicians. Martial arts is only a sub-genre of the White Room, but it still trains the kids to be the same of an Olympic-level athlete. When Ayanokouji was learning martial arts, he did not have any natural fighting talent and had to develop his skills with experience. His White Room fighting record at age 4 was 127 wins and 4 losses, with 64 consecutive wins at the time the record was revealed. His 4 losses came from Shiro, who was a prodigy at judo. He would beat Ayanokouji once, then Ayanokouji would quickly develop past him after gaining the experience and knowledge of how to win against him. This caused Shiro to lose confidence in himself and lead him to wanting to drop out on his own accord, leaving Ayanokouji to be the last person from the 4th generation. After Shiro left, all focus was on Ayanokouji. His martial arts training continued and intensified as he aged. When he reached age 9, he reached a level where he was only fighting adults in spars and winning easily, so Atsuomi wanted to take it to a new level. He hired a group of men to subdue his son in a serious fight. A lot of people think these men are professional professional martial artists, but Ayanokouji described their movements as rough and spirited, and nothing like the fluid movements of the instructors he was used to. He also described them as opponents who were capable of irregular fights in an uphill battle rather than an even playing field. Also that, unlike previously, pure physical strength was no match for them. The difference in muscle mass is obvious. They were the kind of guys that, in a head-on fight, you'd have no chance of winning 100 out of 100 times against. And they also brought a bag filled with different weapons, such as stun guns, batons, and knives. That doesn't describe martial artists, but more of the Yakuza or gangsters. The instructors told Ayanokouji to fight them as if he wanted to kill them. Out of pity, the leader of the group told Ayanokouji he could use one of the weapons even though he wanted to fight barehanded. So Ayanokouji used the baton for its reach. He noted that in order to win against these men, he had to attack their weak points. His attacks wouldn't do much damage. Ayanokouji easily beats men, and as the last man drops from a blow to his shin, Ayanokouji is about to hit him in the skull with the baton, which he says would have shattered it. After the fight, the instructor asks him why did he go so far. Ayanokouji states he was tasked to kill them. Moments later, in a conversation with Atsuomi, the instructor stated the entire fight. Ayanokouji's heart rate remained normal the entire time, which he called a strength and weakness. He also went toe-to-toe with Tsukishiro and Shiba, who he stated are at agent level, and handled it well without taking any hits, dodging both of them while they were attacking him at the same time. After Fuka Kiryuin appeared, Ayanokouji easily beat Shiba in a one-on-one fight. Ayanokouji's martial arts training allows them to fight multiple opponents at once, as he did this again against Ryuin and his underlings. In terms of his experience level, Ayanokouji is easily a black belt level. I would say he peaks at about 5th Dan in the martial arts he knows. I say this because during the fight with Horikita's brother Sefter, she revealed then her brother Manabu. Horikita was a 5th Dan in karate and 4th Dan in Aikido. Ayanokouji access to himself that if the fight had continued, it would have ended badly for him. Many people believe Ayanokouji to be a bad narrator when he says something that they deem is beneath him, when Ayanokouji carefully analyzes almost everything. Mikey was raised inside his family dojo and called a prodigy. He is mostly trained in karate, but he has shown usage of taekwondo, kyokushin, boxing, capoeira, MMA, and luxation. He could kick sealed bottle tops off by age 4, showcasing kick accuracy, and had shown to have vast knowledge of the body and its weak points, being a master of disarticulation. He beat 30-plus enemies by himself to save Kazutora, calved Samiyama's face in with a kick, beat 3 high schoolers in 4th grade, destroyed multiple delinquents who wanted revenge for Mikey, beating their little brothers, and he has been in several other fights. Mikey has never lost a fight in his life. No matter the circumstances, and Draken states he feels sorry for Mikey because he never seen the sky of defeat. Even Izana lost after he prepared to destroy Mikey, since he was the 8th generation Black Dragon leader and made a will to destroy Mikey and Toman, which Madarame Shion adopted and eventually lost to Mikey also. Izana watched the entire fight, learned everything he needed to about Mikey, even though they're adopted brothers, and brought his scheme to life with Tenjiku. Mikey has been in a multitude of fights and can beat 1,000 men if need be. Mikey himself asked the 200 challenging Tenjiku members if they were handicapped because they would need 20,000 men to stop him. Mikey's battle IQ is also underrated, as he was able to overcome Izana, who could read his attacks, and also Takamichi, who could read his attacks a 1 second before he kicks. After a few kicks, Mikey was able to figure out that Takamichi could see his attacks, and he made a counter plan to overcome it. Mikey, on top of being a prodigy, has been in hundreds of fights since elementary school. As Draken stated, he and Mikey get into fights with people every single day. Ayanokouji has high stamina from his extensive training when he turned 4. The White Room adopted martial arts curriculum starting with judo, where kids were repeatedly slammed to the ground by instructors and forced to stand back up every day until the point they became numb to the feeling of pain. The White Room instructors were described as people who don't take it easy on women and children. He was able to survive on an uninhabited island 13 days while constantly on the lookout for enemies, and still had to fight Tsukishiro and Shiba, who are professional-level fighters, although he was winded, which Tsukishiro pointed. His resistance to pain was shown during his encounter with Hausen. He intentionally allowed himself to be stabbed by a knife through his palm, to which he showed no signs of panic and kept his usual poker face. Fought Tsukishiro and Shiba at the same time after surviving on an uninhabited island. Ayanokouji's fighting stamina should be around peak human. Mikey has had feats of taking down entire gangs since before he started Toman. He can defeat anywhere from 20 to close to 1,000 men, and has bragged about being able to defeat 20,000 men without getting as much as a scratch. He defeated 100+ men without getting a stain on his coat. He also defeated the entire 2nd Gen Toman and Kanto Manji gang after going berserk. Mikey has fought for extensive amounts of time and has beaten hundreds of opponents, but has never tired in a fight. Hanma noted Mikey was a monster for not being tired after their long fight. An underrated attribute Mikey has is his endurance. Despite his small frame, Mikey is of the most durable characters and can endure just as much punishment as he dishes out. Mikey has many feats of tanking his opponent's hits without trying to block them back to punish himself. He mentions this after being punched by Taiju, but there are several times he has done this. When Mikey faced Izana, he had already taken damage from Draken, who hit him several times, walked to the hospital with Emma on his back, and was still dealing with her death. Hanma mentions Izana is going all out, but none of his attacks can keep Mikey down or significantly hurt him, and he keeps getting back up, and Izana's limbs eventually grew tired from not being able to hurt Mikey much. Draken also mentioned Mikey was using all his strength, but this false, since Draken is revealed to not even know what Mikey's dark impulse is, unlike Baji and Sanzu, who kept his impulse in check. Also, when Mikey's first landed a kick, it knocked Izana unconscious temporarily. Even after trading blows with the 2x larger South, Mikey was shown to have far less damage from the exchange than South, which is why Takamichi stopped them from exchanging, since it was obvious South was losing and not hurting Mikey. Mikey quite wins this fight no matter the situation. He is vastly superior in physical strength, speed, agility, stamina, and talent. Mikey is also the only character between the two who actually uses amplifiers like Dark Impulse, but Mikey doesn't even need them to win this fight. He just purely outstats Ayanokouji in every way imaginable. Ayanokouji striking power scales to 4 kilojoules, using the Ibuki feat. Mikey's attacks in base form scales to 1093 kilojoules, and this was with bad balance. If Ibuki, who performed the elevator kick, which scaled the verse to 4 kilojoules, can give Ayanokouji concussions, imagine what Mikey, who scales 273.25x higher with half power in his kicks. Ayanokouji's speed scales to 62.5 meters per second. Mikey's speed scales to 2,250 meters per second, which makes him 36x faster than Ayanokouji. Ayanokouji would be not only killed with a single attack, he would also not even see the attack coming, similar to when Mikey kicked Taiju Shiba. Ayanokouji doesn't have nearly the stamina feats that Mikey has. He got winded from an extended fight with Tsukishiro and Shiba, while Mikey has statements of never tiring in fights, and has shown the capability to defeat hundreds of opponents in seconds. Comparing Mikey to Ayanokouji is like comparing Baki to Ohma. Both are strong in their own respective right, but Mikey's strength is unrealistic, which is why he almost will always win this fight. Koti only has a handful of strong characters, which are the White Room students, and a few students, but it's all around the threshold of human standards, while Tokyo Revengers has over 20 superhumans who never trained in their life and are faster, stronger, and more durable than Kote characters. Characters like Wakasa, Angry, Kakucho, Baji, South, Senju can speed blitz at subsonic plus speeds, while characters like Mikey and Izana can reach superonic. Other characters like Draken, Taiju, Mucho, Mikey, and South can lift hundreds of pound objects with literal ease, while Koti characters only have Albert and he is still physically weaker than Mikey. Ayanokouji couldn't even harm Albert with punches, which is why he aimed for his throat. when he hit him while Mikey has killed opponent's 2x bigger bare hand with ease or free himself from an elevator he was stuck in. Mikey kicked a hole into a car engine with bad balance, while Ayanokouji said it's impossible to kick open an entire elevator. Mikey wins this fight without any difficulty. If you have any other matchups you want me to break down, comment below and I will grant your request. Please make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel for similar content.